Last week I made a DCEU tier list. I ended up not posting it because there was only like 10 films and a lot of them don't even feel like very connected to the other ones. It's just not a cohesive thing like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. So I've found a list where it has just most, if not all, of the DC comic superhero live action films. So we're going to do that instead. Now, I definitely haven't seen all of these. I have not sure if I've seen the Adam West Batman film. Superman the movie, pretty good. Don't know how these got mixed up, but I'll put those back to normal. I'll put Superman the movie in B tier. Now the sequel I haven't seen. I haven't seen any of its sequels. I have not seen Supergirl. I like the Supergirl series, but I have not seen the movie. Swamp Thing. I have not seen Return of Swamp Thing, but I have seen Swamp Thing. I'll place in A tier for now. Very solid movie. I believe it's a Wes Craven movie. Yeah, definitely recommend it. Definitely a different kind of superhero movie. Batman. Batman's probably A tier. Batman Returns, A tier. Batman Forever, B tier. Batman and Robin, awesome B movie. I think I got to put it in B tier though, because it's a long stretch. Like you're only watching it because it's a B movie. Otherwise, it's completely terrible. Probably like absolute F tier. But it has that B movie charm. It's so over the top and ridiculous. That is what they were going for. They definitely pushed it too far, and probably should have. If that's what they were going for, they should have like looked deeper into like what people like about B movies, because it's not the greatest in terms of B movies. It's one of the worst in terms of just non B movies for superhero movies. But I think it deserves its place in B tier, just based off of pure camp and insanity. Shaq Steel. Steel was really cool. I remember liking it as a kid. I don't know if it holds up, so I'm gonna put it in C tier. It could be A tier. If it holds up to how much I liked it as a kid, it'd be A tier, B tier, but not sure. Catwoman, fan service. The trailers, pure fan service. The movie, absolute poop. It just it was just a very confused and weird movie. Definitely, like, really think about it. Are you gonna watch Batman and Robin, or are you gonna watch Catwoman? There's no way anyone out there is choosing Catwoman out of those two options. Like, even for fan service, like, um, like Batgirl and Poison Ivy and Batman and Robin, you're gonna get more of that. Catwoman is just awful. Probably F tier. I think it won like multiple Razzies. Constantine. Again, I don't remember if Constantine holds up. Keanu Reeves, people have completely changed. I mean, there was never a time where people did not like Keanu Reeves, but he went from being just this guy who's got some good leading roles to like an S tier actor. So it'd be interesting to see this. I mean, I always thoroughly enjoyed him and considered him S tier, but it's weird to see the society and film movie fans kind of hop on board. He's kind of like the hero of the celebrity world in a lot of ways, which is just kind of shocking. Constantine, I think I will put it below Batman the movie. I mean Superman the movie. Sorry. Batman Begins, really cool. I watched it after I watched The Dark Knight, because obviously The Dark Knight was just a huge, huge movie. And then I watched Batman Begins, and I was like, all right, this is why they put so much effort into The Dark Knight, is because this movie was awesome. I will put it. It's hard to rank it like around other Batman movies. I think I got to put it above Swamp Thing. Maybe, yeah, just a little bit. Sure. Superman Returns. I believe that's the one with I don't know the guy's name, but it was it was okay. I would maybe put it I gotta put it below these like campy Batman movies. Superman Returns, it doesn't do anything wrong. It just doesn't do anything interesting. Watchmen was pretty cool. Uh, I feel like it stands out because it stands out. So I think I got to put it by Swamp Thing, and I'll put it a little bit below Swamp Thing, honestly. Wonder Woman 84, I haven't seen. I haven't seen Shazam, Aquaman, or the other Shazam stuff. But besides that, I've seen pretty much all of these. Jonah Hex, I haven't seen. I should really watch that one next. I have not seen Green Lantern. I really haven't seen a lot of these, but you know, I've seen enough. I've seen the ones that matter. Dark Knight, it's got to be S tier. I do think The Dark Knight is a little bit overrated, but I mean, the Joker is so strong, such a strong performance in that movie. It carries it to S tier. It like the overall movie, you know, there's a lot of good things about it. Obviously, Two Face is completely awful. They dropped the ball, botched it. To have him become Two Face and then be like no longer around by the end of the movie, like it just felt like way too rushed. Like we need more than 10 minutes of Two Face. Why'd you spend all this time building him up just to crush him? Mistake in my mind, and a mistake that gets overlooked. That's why I mention it. I mean, great movie, but it has to be stated. Dark Knight Rises. I like Dark Knight Rises more than most people. I think it's S tier. I think it's right behind The Dark Knight. I don't know why people don't like it. Like, Bane was awesome, and people will quote Bane to this day in that movie, but they act like it's somehow. They act like Batman Begins is like one step below Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises is like 5 steps below that, and I just don't see it that way at all. Man of Steel was cool, kind of weird. It'd be a stretch to say that I like it, but I'll put it right below Superman Returns. It's one of the better DCEU movies, but that is a very, very low bar, which we are about to see. I will be nice for a moment, and I will talk about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is awesome, S tier. That's all I really got to say. Just a solid superhero movie. They finally hit the mark and made something that could actually kind of contend with the Marvel movie. Well, like an MCU movie, not an overall Marvel movie, but it's the only DCEU movie that contends with the Marvel movie. Batman versus Superman, epic disappointment. Just the title alone of the movie before you even get into a trailer. The title alone should sell you on this movie. Should almost it's just the perfect recipe for an awesome movie. Just have them verse each other, but at least have a little bit of a reason, and they don't really even give you much of a reason at all, and it's a little ridiculous. And then they just kind of cram in all these villains. There's like Lex Luthor for no reason. There's Doomsday for no reason. There's Wonder Woman for no reason. I mean, I don't mind Wonder Woman showing up, but having like all this other crap happening where there's just no depth to it at all. Absolute disaster. Set the DCEU on this path of absolute destruction. Just a terrible movie. D tier. Suicide Squad, one of the most highest viewed trailers of all time. The hype for this movie was incredible. Once you watch the movie, you realize that the majority of the villains are just black blobs. Like, it's like you put garbage bags over a bunch of stunt doubles and a bunch of stunt people and extras, and they're just mowing down black blobs. It's like a video game, and how It's like a really old video game where they cheaped out on the enemies. It's like the first like Kingdom Hearts where you're like, I'm just fighting these like black blobs. That's the enemies. Like, how is this? How is this way? Like, why'd they cheap out so hard? Why didn't they think this through? This could have been so much better. Huge disappointment. Not as terrible as Batman vs Superman. I think I will put it in bottom of B tier. Now, Justice League, absolute awful turd, piece of crap, horrible. There's no reason in that movie to care about anyone besides Wonder Woman. And maybe The Flash, if you watch The Flash. I never watched The Flash. I don't care about The Flash. Even if I did, he's barely in the movie. He barely gets any character development. There's really no point for him to be there. There's really no point for anyone to be there. I mean, yeah, we watched Man of Steel and we liked Michael Shannon. But we didn't really like this dark Superman who doesn't care about people and is, you know, Pa Kent is like an evil guy. Not really evil, but like this uncaring, cold dude. Just there's no reason to care about Superman or Batman. And that's a huge problem if you're making a Justice League movie. You needed to develop these characters before pushing out this movie, and you pushed it out so fast that it just never stood any kind of chance. And it is somehow more awful than you can even imagine with all these things setting it back. Joker, S tier. Somehow they managed to have a Joker in a reasonable amount of time after Heath Ledger's Joker that is actually probably better than Heath Ledger's Joker. More interesting, solid movie. I want to put it above The Dark Knight because it almost is, but I can't. Birds of Prey, underrated, definitely weird, but not horribly disappointing for a Harley Quinn movie. Again, the fact that it's a part of this DC extended universe and it doesn't like build on the universe very much at all. We get like no Joker. We just kind of needed stuff to connect it to because it's like it's already attached to this DCEU, which is this abomination. But it's like you got to take some kind of opportunity to build up that universe and at least build up Harley Quinn, and it doesn't do much of that. It struggles so much. I feel like it is very tied down to the extended universe, and I probably have to put it below the Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. The Suicide Squad. Somehow they made a good sequel to this poopy movie. It's just solid. It's funny. It uses characters from the first one. It adds new characters that are entertaining. There's good action. There's good comedy. It's a great movie. Yeah, I'm gonna put it above The Dark Knight. I'm sorry, but The Dark Knight is kind of like rambling, kind of like I like that it's about something, and I like that it's about something serious, and you have these like monologues, but like the monologues are a bit cheesy. I mean, I don't know if I can confidently put it above The Dark Knight. Maybe I won't, but it's like right there. Same with Joker, it's right there. The Dark Knight is overrated. Like, I don't think The Dark Knight is like the best movie ever. It definitely isn't. It's far from it, but it's pretty darn good. It's going to be really hard to beat it ever in terms of a DC movie. The Batman with Robert Pattinson, awesome. Like, I like it a lot more than The Dark Knight, any of the Dark Knight movies, because Robert Pattinson's Batman is actually doing detective stuff, and the world's dark and actually gritty. Like, I feel like the Dark Knight sort of movie universe is kind of more like just darkly lit in certain aspects, whereas like they actually like dive into some like, I don't know, less general subject matter. I don't know. I feel like it's so similar to The Dark Knight, and the fact that it's like it's about something and it has a message, and that message is complex and not easily solved. I feel like it's very close with The Dark Knight. Like, it's right there. It's right there. Zack Snyder's Justice League, also known as the Snyder Cut. Huge improvement on the theatrical release of Justice League. I love that they did it. I actually passionately love that they did it. I think this was incredibly cool that people wanted this. They needed it. And the fact that the studio finally did it, that it happened, it's a great thing for film that this happened, right? The fact that you had this version of the movie that was like better and just needed a little bit of like editing and work, and you have this movie that exists and it's better, and don't just keep it from people, show it to people. That's awesome. I supported this so much. I wanted to love it. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to, because there's still enough of it in the theatrical release of Justice League that you could tell there's no way they're going to be able to salvage a movie out of this that's going to be good, right? That's going to be like genuinely good, because there's still going to be no reason to really care about any of these characters. It's still going to be this rushed mess, and the villain is lame, and that's still the case. People overhyped this like crazy, like it was just this, like it took the Justice League, which is an F tier movie, up to an S tier movie. That's insane. That's absolute insanity. That's impossible. That makes no sense that would ever happen. That's not what happened. If you haven't seen this and you've seen the Justice League theatrical version, there is no reason to watch the Snyder Cut. It's an improvement, but it's barely an improvement. And I will put it, I won't go as far as to put it in D tier with Batman versus Superman, but I will put it right below Steel, in C tier, the Snyder Cut, overrated. But yeah, this S and A tier, absolute bangers. Watch them. And there's some other stuff in here that's watchable, but for the most part, S tier and A tier are the way to go. And that's the DC live action movies. I assume there's other ones that weren't on this list. And I'd like to watch the Shazam movies, and the recent Flash movie looked really cool from the bits and pieces I saw online. So yeah, maybe I'll make another list in the future. I'm excited that they're resetting the DCEU. The DCEU was a nightmare of them desperately wanting to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they just didn't want to. They wanted to rush it. They wanted it to just happen at the snap of a finger, and they overlooked like all the awesome like filmmaking and story development that had happened in the MCU. They just tried to force it, and it didn't work. They should have known better. But I mean, these movies still make money, and they're always going to make them. They're always going to be making more and more of them. I mean, look at the different Batmans we've gotten in the last 10 years and the different Jokers we've gotten in the last 10 years. Let's get some other Batman villains in here. He's got a great catalog of villains. Let's get it going. Hope you like the list. Peace out.